At the beginning of season 1 of the show, the Kamado family appeared to be just like any other family living in the mountains. But that wasn't the case at all. They had this really cool thing called sun breathing, a legendary breathing style that was passed down through their family for generations. It was even created by the strongest demon slayer to ever live, Yoriichi Sugikuni, who lived around 500 years ago during the Sengoku era, aka the Golden Age of Demon Slayers. Yoriichi was the one who came up with the original sun breathing style, and he was also the only demon slayer that Muzan Kibutsuji, the ultimate bad guy, was ever afraid of. And that's where our story begins. Not only was Yoriichi the only person who could use sun breathing, but he was also the greatest swordsman in the world. When he was just 7 years old and had no training, he was able to defeat a trained swordsman with ease, hitting him in multiple areas of his body faster than the eye could even see. His swordsmanship was so incredible that a battle doll was made in his likeness, with 6 arms wielding katanas and 108 techniques just to attempt to imitate his skills. But even with all of that, the doll still couldn't compare to Yoriichi's abilities. He was so strong that he easily overwhelmed the Demon King Muzan, and even in his 80s, he was still much stronger than his younger brother Kakushibo, who was the top-ranked demon at the time. Yoriichi originally created sun breathing with 12 techniques that were all connected to one another. But after meeting the Demon King himself, he perfected his swordsmanship and created a new, unnamed 13th form. Since some of the breathing techniques are closely tied to the Kamado family, let's go through all of them. The first and most common form is called Dance, where the user delivers a single high-powered vertical slash as seen in Tanjiro's battle against Rui. Clear Blue Sky involves the user spinning their body horizontally to deliver a 360-degree slash, while Raging Sun unleashes 2 horizontal slashes to hit or defend against incoming attacks. Burning Bones is a technique where the user unleashes a large, circular slash to defend against imminent frontal attacks. The Setting Sun transformation involves the user backflipping into the air to deliver a powerful upended sword slash that aims to decapitate their target. Solar Heat Haze is a technique where the user charges toward the target, unleashing a horizontal slash seemingly covered in a haze that appears to miss but actually hits the target. Beneficent Radiance is a technique where the user spirals into the air and delivers a powerful slash that surrounds the enemy. Sunflower Thrust is a single thrust attack with the point of the blade, while Dragon Sun Halo Head Dance is a continuous, fast, and powerful sword attack that takes the form of a Japanese dragon made of solar flames. The Fire Wheel involves the user leaping behind the opponent and spinning in the air downward, releasing a sword attack in a circular motion. The Fake Rainbow technique involves the user performing high-speed twists and rotations, creating afterimages. Flame Dance is a 2-combo strike that starts with a vertical slash and is followed by a horizontal one. The 13th form is a technique where the user continuously performs all 12 forms of sun breathing in repetitive succession, increasing the accuracy and agility of their movements. This form was created solely to kill Muzan Kibutsuji, since the repetition of all 12 forms aims to destroy Muzan's 12 vital organs, 7 hearts and 5 brains, that move freely inside his body. So how did the Kamado family come to possess this legendary breathing style? Well, during the Sengoku era, Yoriichi met Sumiyoshi and his sister, a member of the Kamado family. Yoriichi saved Sumiyoshi from a demon and they became close friends. He would often visit the Kamados in their home on the mountain. One time, while staying with them, Sumiyoshi and his wife asked Yoriichi if he could perform his sun breathing style in front of them. He accepted and performed all the forms with such grace that he was likened to more of a spirit than a human. When Sumiyoshi saw Yoriichi perform the sun breathing technique, he was blown away. Yoriichi gave Sumiyoshi his cool Hanafuda earrings and promised to teach him the breathing techniques. Sumiyoshi was so inspired that he passed it down to his family and named it Hinokami Kagura. It became a family tradition, and they even used it in a ritual ceremony to protect against threats and diseases. The dance had 12 different parts, each representing a different form of sun breathing. Eventually, the tradition was passed on to Tanjiro Kamado, who was the father of our main characters, Tanjiro and Nezuko. Sadly, Tanjiro passed away a few years before the main story due to illness, but we can assume he was a loving and caring person based on what little we know about him. Tanjiro had a really good relationship with his family. He'd given lectures to Tanjiro about life and all that, but he didn't really like showing off his skills except when it came to protecting his loved ones. Then he went all out and showed no mercy to the enemy. He even got married to Kai and had 6 kids. Despite being a total badass with a legendary breathing style, he didn't want to join the Demon Slayers. He preferred to spend time with his family instead. He passed away before Tanjiro joined the Demon Slayers, but he was a big inspiration to him and the one who introduced him to sun breathing. Not a lot of people know this, but Tanjiro's dad was actually one of the strongest humans around at the time. Even though he had a tragic disease that made his body super frail, he was able to take down a massive bear that was over 2 meters tall with incredible speed, and without even using a Nichiren sword. And get this, he could even access the transparent world. Tanjiro learned this cool trick from his dad through perception training. He used it to chop up a giant bear in the blink of an eye before it even knew what hit it. His birthmark on his forehead is a Demon Slayer mark. Shinjiro explained that all sun-breathing users naturally have a mark on their forehead. For those of you who aren't in the know, let us break it down. Demon Slayers with the mark can use a special form of perception that makes everything look transparent. They can see right through living beings and even their insides. They can see the flow of blood, breathing, muscular contractions, and joint movements of any creature they look at. It's almost like they have X-ray vision. They can even use this power to see inside an enemy's body, predicting and dodging their attacks while finding opportunities to strike. Plus, they can perceive the world around them in slow motion, making them super fast and quick. Just imagine how strong Tanjiro would be if he trained as a Demon Slayer. When we first met the Hashiras, they didn't even know what the transparent world or Demon Slayer marks were. It makes you wonder how much more powerful they could become with this kind of training, right? If it weren't for his illness, Tanjiro could have become one of the Hashiras and possibly the strongest Demon Slayer of his generation. Despite his frail body and freezing surroundings, he emanated no sense of hatred, anger, or fear, even in the direst situations. This was greatly inspired by Yoruichi, who was able to stop his bloodlust for combat. Tanjiro had immense stamina and endurance for a non-Demon Slayer. He was able to practice the Hinokami Kagura ritual dance from dusk to dawn without any rest. That's pretty impressive, don't you think? Despite his illness, Tanjiro never let it hold him back and continued to push himself to become stronger. When talking about Hinokami Kagura, we have to mention everyone's favorite sun-breathing user, Tanjiro Kamado. At the beginning of his journey as a Demon Slayer, Tanjiro had no idea what breathing forms or sun-breathing even were. He only saw his father perform Hinokami Kagura in the past, but didn't understand it. Tanjiro's initial training was under Sakonji Urokodaki, the former water Hashira. He learned water breathing techniques from him as he sought to avenge his family and defeat Muzan Kibutsuji. In the beginning, Tanjiro faced many weak demons that he easily beheaded using the water breathing style. It was a tough journey, but Tanjiro's determination and training helped him to become the powerful Demon Slayer he is today. As time went on, Tanjiro's enemies became stronger, and the water breathing style he had been taught wasn't enough to keep him alive. In his near-death experience fighting Rui, Tanjiro remembered his father showing him Hinokami Kagura in the form of a dance. With this single memory, he was able to instantly adapt his water breathing and use the advanced Hinokami Kagura technique in the middle of battle. However, it's not possible for anyone to perform such an advanced technique just by seeing it once. It's likely that since the Kamado family practiced the same style for over 400 years, it's in their blood, and they can easily master it without extensive training. As Tanjiro's body was more suited to Hinokami Kagura, he quickly overpowered the lower-ranked demon, but the sheer force of fatigue placed on his untrained body caused him to collapse moments after using it. As Tanjiro continued to hone his skills, he realized that he could improve his Hinokami Kagura technique by removing unnecessary movements and perfecting his breathing rhythm, among other things. This allowed him to awaken the true form of the legendary sun-breathing style, and he was able to fight on equal footing with the Demon King Muzan. In fact, Muzan even saw the visage of Yoruichi overlapping with Tanjiro's when he was performing this technique against him. It's clear that Tanjiro's hard work and dedication paid off, as he was able to achieve an incredibly high level of skill and power in the sun-breathing style. Like and subscribe to not miss out on the next videos about Demon Slayer's curiosities.